the legendary samurai Miyamoto Musashi once said, "If you understand the way broadly, you'll see it in all things." The way I've been interpreting this quote is that if you understand something very well, whether if you're a field of study, sports, or art, the learnings you gain from that is not only applicable to that craft, but also to other crafts, and it also extends to the way of life itself. I have seen and read this to be true in people like my brother, Lex Friedman, David Goggins, and Marcus Aurelius. I also aspire to develop my own philosophy, but I also love listening to others' learnings, which they gain through their blood, sweat, and tears. And one of the people I look up to for their dedication to their craft is the musician Jacob Collier. Jacob is a rare specimen whose upbringing, talent, interest, and love for their craft were all aligned to create this goat of a musician. In the songs and interviews that Jacob is in, Jacob really exudes his love for music. And even as a non-musician, I found it really inspiring. Recently, Jacob was interviewed on the Colin and Samir show to talk about his creative process. And listening to Jacob's philosophy was really inspiring, so I wanted to talk about that a bit. One of the main parts of Jacob's live shows is the audience choir. And because Jacob can't control who is in the audience, this creates a lot of uncertainty. So Colin and Samir asks Jacob about dealing with uncertainty in general, and this is what Jacob has to say.
Like, yes, I'm a fraud. Yes, I don't know what's going to happen next. Yes, everyone's lost right now. Yes, the world is ending, you know? On the other side, if you look for love in anything, you'll find it. And if you expect to see love in something, then it's there. And everything, grief, fear, anger, despair, any level of that, it's all love in disguise. It's all people trying to love, but they just can't quite get it out right, you know?
Love is a big theme in Jacob's philosophy, and I love the idea of trying to find love in everything, including things that cause you uncertainty. Jacob goes on to apply the same idea to his creative process.
Like, you know that feeling when you're like, I think this might work. You know that feeling?
Yeah.
Wow, it's such a great feeling. Or being on stage and being like, I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to do it. And there's just, that feeling is so
That's a great
special.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you feel that as well.
Yeah.
Why chase anything else?
Yeah.
As part of Jacob talking about dealing with uncertainty, he also talks about this idea of creating space. And we will see later that this is in fact Jacob's underlying philosophy.
You have a great quote, I don't remember exactly what it is, but about that you want life to surprise you. Like you want to leave space for life to surprise you.
Yes, yeah.
And I very much resonate with that. Like
one of the things that Jacob does that draw people in is that he always pushes the creative boundaries.
My name is Jacob Collier.
No, it isn't. That's my name.
Excuse me?
My name is Jacob.
What are you talking about? My name is Jacob
Okay,
Collier.
I think everybody here knows that I'm the guy whose name
all
is
right.
Jacob Collier.
We're all Jacob Collier. I think the point has been made.
So Colin and Samir ask Jacob about having creative courage.
Like one thing I sometimes do or recommend people to do is to like make the worst song in the world. Like make the worst song in the world.
Yeah.
Make something filthy bad that you would hate. And surprise yourself in the process of doing that at how interesting your song is because you weren't afraid of making a bad song.
So Jacob explains this idea of making the worst song possible, but I think this idea can be applied to any creative processes. The underlying idea of Jacob's philosophy seems to be this idea of creating space for life to happen, creating space for life to surprise you. This idea comes up several times in the conversation, and Jacob also says that it's an idea that Michelangelo also had.
And kind of your only job is to show up for what's already there and make space for that. And there's something that I think Michelangelo used to say, which is about sculpting. It's about you remove what's not the sculpture from the block. See, there's a block. You remove what's not the sculpture and reveal what was already there as the sculpture.
I love
In a full circle style, I love how this idea also exists in Jacob finding his own voice. Of course, Jacob started his career by singing all the parts in one song by himself and then compiling that into make the song.
Isn't she lovely?
And now after 10 years, he feels like he's found his voice in the voice of others.
But it took 10 years for me to realize this is my voice. It's the voice of others. It's when I can offer whatever courage I have to you to use your voice. That's me. That's me speaking. That's me singing, you know? And so now I feel like I'm playing the whole world as a musical instrument.
Just like how Michelangelo removed chunks of marble to create space for his sculptures to exist, Jacob has removed his voice to create space for others to have voice. I think this quote from Jacob sums up his philosophy. Jacob says, "My voice is at its loudest when I'm not singing a word."
It's extraordinary for that to feel like the moment for me, honestly, when my voice is at its loudest is when I'm not saying a word. And I think there's just a lot of ways in which that's impacted my life as a person and the way I think about purpose, the way I think about collaboration. Everything's changed because of that.
I do think that
Inspired by Jacob's philosophy, I wanted to leave the middle part of this video blank to create space for you to exist in the video in the form of reflection. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you everyone. Bye.